for? Well, she is the former nanny for the Kardashian and the Jenner family.
And she says there was never a dull moment. I don't doubt. So she wrote a book about it. We've got not only the book, but the author here today. Pam Behan joining us once again. Fascinating. I'm leafing through during the commercial breaks.
Yeah, let's see. How many pages is this? About 225. I would suspect that it would. I thought it would have been longer, right? With 5 years and the Kardashians.
It's got to be a second book, right?
Let's talk a little bit about this. We briefly touched on it earlier. What would you say is what was the toughest part about being the nanny for this family?
For me, it was that I was always exhausted because I was actually a full-time student at the same time that I took care of them. So, you know, in addition to getting them all ready and off to school and at night their homework done and baths in bed, then, you know, I was exhausted already, but then I still had to do my homework and, you know, fell asleep with my book like this many nights, but I made it through. So it was just being tired is the hardest part about that job.
And this taking place mainly in the early 90s, so Khloe Kardashian still very little, Kris Jenner's son Brody very small. Is it wild to see them now in these reality shows?
It is. It's bizarre for me when I turn on the TV and there are their faces, or I'm in the grocery store and there they are. It's surreal.
Do you keep in contact with any of them?
I mainly keep in contact with Bruce because we have the same birthday. And I always announce October 28th in case anybody wants to send cards or gifts. So I always talk to Bruce on our birthday, and sometimes in between. Talked to Kris a few times in the last few years. I've kind of lost touch in the last few years with the girls just because, I mean, they're busy, crazy schedules.
They got a lot going on. Yeah, as we see.
A little bit, just a little bit. So, but I would love to have a reunion with them. I think that would really be awesome. So.
You know, when we hear about these tell-all books, you know, I think a lot of times we think, oh, we're going to get something juicy, there might be some bashing, but you really don't do any of that in this book.
No, there's not. There are really funny, crazy, make-you-laugh stories, but I just thought, you know, there's no sense in doing that. I think the media enough of that to them, and I just choose to remember the good. And so that's why I just decided to go that route.
Name of the book, Malibu Nanny. It reminds me, we've had the nanny diaries and things. What do you think is our fascination with, what did the nanny see? What did the nanny have to go through?
Well,
I mean, it's a tricky job.
The nanny has the behind the scenes. You know, the nanny tells what it's really like. So I think that's why people are fascinated with this. But, you know, this book is actually a story of my whole journey, though, too. It's not just about them. It talks about how I came from a town of 123 people and accidentally fell into this job.
What a culture shock that must have been, right? Minnesota to Malibu. You know, and obviously you are going back to the simple life because now you live in South Dakota.
Right. And you can't get any more simple than that. But that's why I like it, honestly. It was fun. I love the fast lane, especially those first few years, you know, all the celebrities you meet and everything. But, you know, after 8 years of it, especially LA traffic, I was ready to go back to the more simple life. So.
Do you hope people get kind of a message out of the book, maybe inspiring to push the boundaries, try something they might not think they could do?
I do. That's kind of the message, especially in the last chapter. It talks about living your life adventurously, and I've definitely had an adventure.
Yes, you do, and now you've got this book to prove and share it with all.
Yes.
All right, Pam Behan, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Again, Malibu Nanny, Adventures of the Former Kardashian Nanny. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Time now is 9:38. Learning how